Okay. So, hello guys. My name is Deeproy, and I am a cybersecurity analyst who is working at ICSS. And I have done many web application pen testing projects and network pen testing projects. Also, in free time, I do some bug bounties also. So, today, our topic is understanding content security policy, CSP weaknesses. Why we need to implement CSP in our websites. Today, our topic is okay. So, this presentation explores content security policies, and it is a defense in depth strategy. While powerful, it requires careful configuration. So in today's presentation we will learn that why we need to implement content security policy in our websites. Okay, so in the first slide we need to learn first what is content security policy and why we need this. Okay, so actually this content security policy is actually a security headers, which if we implement this security header in our websites, then our websites will be secured. Okay, and also this content security policy also prevents some of the basics uh, s- web application attacks like cross site scripting, open rewrite, and HTML injection. So first point is HTTP header control. Actually, CSP is an HTTP header. It controls resources, and also uh, it supports the user agent so that it can load them safely. Okay. Now, second point is reduces excess risks. So if we implement content security policy in our website, it prevents some of the cross-site scripting attacks, also open redirect and HTML injection attacks. Okay. So how actually it prevents this kind of attacks? So we all know that in cross-site scripting we inject malicious code, malicious script, JavaScript in client side or in a server side. So if the website have this content security policy security implemented already, then we can't upload or we can't inject any JavaScript, malicious JavaScript in our websites. Okay. So that is how it significantly reduces cross-site scripting risks also. Now, some of the configuration examples. Suppose in example.com website, uh, there is script source equal to self. Okay, if the script source is self, it means that only it allows script from the trusted origins. Okay, it only allows the scripts from the trusted origins, like the servers. And if anyone want to trying to inject it, any inject he is trying to inject any malicious JavaScript code, then it will automatically blocks this kind of malicious attacks. So that is why we need to configure our websites script source equal to self. Now the broad browser support. So this content security policy have CSP is widely supported. Like major browsers like included Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge also support this content security policy. Okay, that is why it is widely used in websites. Now CSP directives overview. Okay, so we need to first learn what is CSP directives. So there is many types of CSP directives. So here actually I have shared four types of CSP directives, which actually if we implemented these CSP directives in our website, then it will majorly, significantly uh, secured our website, and also it prevents some of the major attacks also. So first is script source. Okay, so this script source actually controls JavaScript sources, including self, unsafe, inline, unsafe eval, nonce, and hash. So if we implement this script source CSP directive, then it will automatically prevent from the cross-site scripting attacks, because by implementing this directive, we can't inject malicious code, or the website does not take the malicious or any JavaScript code from the user side or any server side, because here we have implemented that uh, it only uses the server side request. Okay, now second is object source and style source. So it also a directive. This object source actually manage the embedded style source, control CSS source, and this directive enhance content integrity. So we have heard attack called HTML injection, right? So actually if we want to prevent from the HTML injection attacks, then we need to implement this object source and style source in our websites. Because by implementing this object source and style source, we can prevent from the HTML injection attacks. Why? Because it manages the embedded data like the CSS and the other things in our website. So by implementing this directive, we can prevent from HTML injection attacks. Now the image source and connect source. So image source specifies image origins, connect source restricts AJAX endpoints. So both are prevent unauthorized data loading. Okay. Also by implementing this, we can also prevent HTML injection and cross-site scripting attacks also. Okay. Now the fourth one is base URI and form action. So base URI actually restricts base element URLs from action limits form submissions. This secure navigation and data flow. Okay, to secure navigation and data flow. So also in image source and connect source, this one image source and connect source. So actually this CSP directive, if we implement the CSP directives also, it also prevents a attack called open redirect. Okay. So in open redirect actually mainly happens if the website have the HTML injection attack. If the website is vulnerable to HTML injection, we can use uh, image source, and also there is a uh, tag HTML tag known as the iframe. Sorry, which we use for redirect a website to a malicious website. Okay, by implementing if the website have the HTML injection vulnerability, then we can also chain this HTML injection vulnerability to open redirect vulnerability, and we can if it is in the client side, then if we send the link, if we send the URL to the victim, then it might be chances that if he clicks on the any malicious button there, then it might be chances that it will redirect him to another malicious website. Okay, so we can change a HTML injection vulnerability to open redirect vulnerability. So that is why we need to implement these CSP directives. If we did not implement this, they can use the chaining mechanism so that a black hat hacker can chain many multiple vulnerabilities, and he can able to use he can able to damage a website, or he can able to steal credential from a users also. Now come on CSP weaknesses like unsafe inline and unsafe eval. So what is unsafe inline? So this directive bypasses CSP for inline scripts. Attacker can inject a malicious code easily. Mitigation involves using nonsense and hashes instead. Okay. So if we use nonsense and hashes, then it will automatically uh, mitigate it. Okay. So that is why you need to use this. Now the unsafe evals also. This allows arbitrary JavaScript execution. Attacker exploit function like eval or set timeout like that. It is crucial to avoid unsafe eval completely. Okay. So if you implement it, or if you use unsafe eval in your website backend code, then it might be possible that a black hat hacker can execute a arbitrary JavaScript code in your website, like using eval functions. So that is why you need to securely implement this type of functions. Now the prevalence, a significant 74% of CSP use these directives, and this data from securityheaders.com 2023. So it is highlights the major risks of using this type of unsafe um, inline and the evals also. So weaknesses, wildcard domains and subdomains trust. So why actually we need to implement CSP with our subdomains also? So in many websites, they have many multiple subdomains in a single website, right? So if you implemented this CSP in a root domain, okay, still there are many chances that you have a multiple subdomains. It means that there can be if you don't correctly implement this CSP in your multiple subdomains also, it might be chances that any black hat hacker can steal data, or he can inject HTML arbitrary code in the subdomains also. So that is why we need to implement all the subdomains also. Now the open redirect. So in the previous I have also told you that we can actually, suppose if you find cross-site scripting now, so there might be chances that there is HTML injection and open redirect. So you can chain these three vulnerability: cross-site scripting, HTML injection, and OpenEdit. So using this, a black hat hacker can corrupt a dangerous or critical attack. Okay, and he can perform to steal a credential from a victim. So that is why we need to strictly implement these CSP rules, because if the website have not any CSP rules implemented it already, then it might be chances that a black hat hacker can steal or can perform this vulnerability chaining attack. Compromise risk. So trusting broad domains increase attack surface. We all know that uh, in current scenario, in a normal website have 10 to 20 subdomains, so it also increases attack surface. Also, a single vulnerability can lead to widespread compromises. So granular control is essentials. Now the bypasses JSON NP endpoint and Angular gadgets. So what is JSON NP endpoint? JSON NP allows cross-domain script loading. Attacker can execute arbitrary JavaScript via callbacks. So if you disable JSON NP or restrict its usage, we can mitigate it from it. So actually there is JSON NP endpoint. Okay. So in this endpoint, if we use this callback method, then we can actually execute some of the arbitrary JavaScript code. So that is why we need to restrict its usage so that we can prevent it from the attack. Okay. Now the Angular JS bypasses. So in a websites, so there is, if the website backend is created using Angular JS. Okay, if the website backend is using Angular JS, it might be possible that the website is vulnerable to two attacks: cross-site scripting, and second one is SSTI or CHTI, client-side temple injection or server-side temple injection. So Angular JS actually leads to two type of critical vulnerabilities. That is three types of. First is cross-site scripting. Second one is client-side temple injection, or one is server-side temple injection. Okay, so that is why we need to quote, if the backend is using AngularJS, then we need to implement some of the CSPs, and all the we need to use secure coding also. Exploitation vector. So both method offer pathway for attackers. They bypass a CSP restriction, proper configuration, and updates are vital. Now the some of the real world examples. So in 2016, Facebook CSP passes via JSON NP misconfiguration. In the previous, I have explained what is JSON NP misconfiguration and how can a black hat hacker actually using this JSON NP misconfiguration. Actually, a black hat hacker can execute some of the arbitrary JavaScript code. In 2017, Twitter vulnerable third-party library led to CSP bypass also. 2018, Google Angular template injection resulted in CSP bypasses. So template injection, in the previous I have told you, that is known as client side. Like we can find this template injection in client side and server side. Okay. Now the bounty rewards. So we all have heard about the bug bounties also. If you find this kind of vulnerability, then it actually you can all companies paid over 5,000 for those bugs also. This. Okay. Now the best practices and conclusion. So we need to follow these steps so that our website will be secure, and any black hat hacker can't perform uh, any attacks in our website. So first is avoid unsafe directives. So like never use unsafe inline, unsafe eval. Use non-ses or hashes for inline script, which instead be specific. Specifically allow domain and endpoints. Avoid wildcard domains for better security. Okay. Audit and update. Regularly audit your CSP. Use tools like Google CSP Evaluator and Mozilla Observatory. It will regularly audit your CSP values. Okay. Now maintain vigilance. CSP is effective with proper configuration and maintain stay vigilant. Okay, to protect our applications also. So thank you very much. So this is was my topic. Okay, we will meet you on the next live thing.